Hi Scorpio, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your January 2021 love reading. Hope you guys are having a good holiday season and a happy new year. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as personal readings go, I'm actually going to be starting them up sometime in January. Not sure the date yet, but when I figure that out, I'll make an update in the community section of the channel. And as far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridging the gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are the past energies, present energies, future energies. And once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards with some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic, and also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like that should be the other way around, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, past energy on your side, we have the King of Coins in reverse, which is Taurus energy, and Power, which is the equivalent of the Emperor, which is Aries energy. So, seeing these two cards come up like this, I could see this going a few different ways. On the one hand, it could just be saying that you guys might have had a heavy focus on your work lives, so you might not have been putting too much energy into the connection. And that would make sense as far as, we've had Mars in Aries for a long time now, which is your 6th house. And eventually in January, it's going to be moving into Taurus, which is your opposite sign of relationships, partnerships. So it could just be saying that, especially with the retrograde, you might have just been pulled away for work, might have had some goals you were working on in that area. But for others of you, I see this as you might have decided not to put in the work toward this person. You might have been a bit dismissive of them because maybe you had like this idealized image of what you wanted a power couple to look like, basically, with you and another person, and you might have felt like they were coming up short for whatever reason. So I see that, that might have been what was at play there. And for others of you, it could have just been you might have had financial difficulties, so you were like, I don't want to really, put all this energy into my love lives. And finally, it could be because you work with the person. So you might have been like, I don't know if I want to get involved with someone that I work with in case things go south, right? Then obviously that could cause issues. Past energy on their side, we have Ace of Chalices. So much simpler on their side. It looks like they definitely have that love and attraction toward you. But again, if we look at the fact that it's just the ace, right, and you guys naturally are the king of coins, or king of cups, rather, so in your eyes, you might have been like, well, this person has a long way to go to meet me on that level, so again, I feel like there's an energy where you might have been a bit dismissive of them, or at the very least, you might not have wanted to at least make a formal commitment with this person for whatever reason. All right. In the present position, a lot of cards came up, but we'll go through them. We have the 6 of Arrows, which is Aquarius energy. The Princess of Coins, which is the equivalent of the Page of Pentacles. Balance, which is the equivalent of the Temperance card, which is Sagittarius energy. Queen of Arrows in reverse, which is the equivalent of the Queen of Swords, which is Libra energy, and the Queen of Coins, which is Capricorn energy. So, a whole lot going on here. But with the 6 of Arrows, I can see this going a couple of different ways. On the one hand, could just be saying that you guys might have been spending some time with family, right? Which, given it's the holidays, that would totally be practical. But, and just taking some time away from the connection in general, maybe getting your distance. But what's interesting, though, is with this card, she's kind of moving back towards the direction of that person. So I feel like it could have just been saying you needed some time away, and you might be slowly drifting toward the connection again. With that Princess of Coins, if it was a financial difficulty you were dealing with, with the King of Coins in reverse there, looks like that might have been slowly starting to improve for you guys. With Balance, given that this Sagittarius energy represents your 2nd house, could just be saying that things have been picking up for you guys financially. So, whereas you might still not be necessarily putting effort into the connection, but with the Queen of Arrows in reverse, to me this could point to you guys actually preparing to at least put a little effort into it, because if we think about the Queen of Arrows in the upright, we even see Venus on the actual card. she's kind of leaning away. And then also with that Venusian energy, it's more of a let things come to you type energy. So if this in reverse, at least she's looking in that direction. So like it's saying, you guys could be considering communicating with this person, but I feel like you're not quite there yet. And with the Queen of Coins representing your third house communication too, same thing. I feel like your financial situation is improving, which is giving you more confidence as far as, where you're standing. And because of that, you might be getting close to wanting to communicate to this person where you're at and possibly put a little more energy into the connection. But again, even with this card here, she's, you know, pointed away from the person but kind of looking in that direction. So I feel like this is saying that you still have that independent streak in you where you're like, okay, I don't want to really jump totally in, but you might be ready to communicate to this person as far as what you're feeling and what you're looking for. Present energy on their side, we have the Two of Wands, which is Aries energy, Four of Wands, which is also Aries energy, and the Moon. So the Two of Wands usually represents, starting over again. So for some of you, this can be this person actually might have made an approach toward you, and that could have been, what started to bring you back toward them. Or maybe like, all right, let me hear this person out. With the Four of Wands, it looks like they actually would want something pretty stable with you guys. But with the Moon, I feel like this is saying that, yes, for some of you, this could point to they might be the ones who are confusing you. But I feel like this is saying that they're a little bit unsure of where you're coming from with the connection. And I can see where that's the case because, like I said, it looks like you guys are still withdrawing a little bit, not necessarily coming forward with what's on your mind with that Venusian energy. Like she almost has like this sly look on her face, and same thing there. So, I feel like you could just be kind of more observing them and seeing, okay, can they step up in the way that you're hoping for them to, basically. That's primarily what I'm picking up on with that. All right. Future energy on your side, we have the King of Staves. So this is actually Leo energy here. And for you guys, that is your 10th house, which represents career, social status. So I feel like this is saying, for one, like I said, whatever you guys are working on career-wise, it looks like that's picking up for you to where you're getting your confidence there. You're feeling secure financially now. And then also with this energy, to me, it represents taking action. Looks like something that might have taken a while, too. So what's standing out to me about this card, I always point out with this deck that those trees in the background look pretty dead, which you wouldn't normally think of with Leo season, right? Because usually, at least in the northern hemisphere, wherever, that's the summer. So this is making me think of the fact that we're going to have that Leo full moon at the end of January. So there's definitely some significance there. I feel like around that Leo full moon is when you guys are actually going to be ready to, rather than just thinking about, should I tell them where I'm at? Should I not tell them? I feel like this is you guys actually deciding to come forward and communicate to this person, what you're looking for. And future energy on their side, we have the King of Swords. So this is basically Aquarius energy. So of course that's opposite Leo. So this is another thing to me that points to saying that, hey, when we get to Aquarius season, especially with that full moon for Leo, which will be toward the end of January, it looks like you guys are going to be communicating. They still might be a bit detached toward you. So I feel like, again, they might feel a little bit uncertain as to where you're coming from. But on the positive side, I guess you could say at least they're stepping up, going up to the king energy, as opposed to when in the beginning you're looking at them like, okay, Ace of Chalices, I feel like they need to offer more, right? So, on the one hand, it could lead to you guys kind of digging your feet in a certain way, both of you coming from that king energy and fixed energy. So, that's one way it could play out. But at the very least, it looks like you guys are going to at least be on the same level when you communicate with each other. All right. And bottom of the deck on your side, we have Justice. So this is Libra energy. And this could just be saying that karmically, this is how things needed to play out between the two of you. And for some of you, if this was again around the work situation, I could definitely see that playing out too, because it always stands out to me that it looks like there's a person behind the curtain there. And basically the theme there is like they're coming back from being away for a while. So, if you might have just been very focused on your work, And like I said, it looks like you might have gotten to a point where you have some success with that. Like we said, the fact that Mars is going to be moving into your seventh house and finally leaving your sixth house could just point to, you know, the energy alleviating a little bit as far as your work lives, and now you'll be able to put in more effort toward your relationship. And we have the Six of Cups beneath that too. So definitely looks like you'll be able to put more energy into the connection. Bottom of the deck on their side, we have Judgment. So this is another energy that usually points to things coming back around for a second opportunity. Trying to see what else comes to mind with this. Well, I mean, keep in mind that I always see the child in that card and the way that it's kind of like they're tying the two people together. So, you know, for some of you, it could even be if you guys were, at least physically, involved with each other recently, could be finding out that one of you is pregnant. That's certainly a possibility. So, and if you're not looking for that, be sure to keep that in mind this month. But yeah, looks like you guys are definitely going to be reconnecting. All right, and moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we'll try to get something from the Aqua Moonlight deck here. I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording. What I'm going to be looking for is just some unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, I'll just move on to the next Oracle deck. But sometimes we get some additional messages here that can be helpful. So we'll see if we get anything. Okay, got one there. And next we'll see if we get any from them to you. All right, there we go, got one there. And so let's see what we got on your side. Okay, so we have choice. It says, I'm trying to make a very difficult decision and it involves you. So interesting there. I would say this probably fits that scenario best where I was saying, you know, some of you might have been a bit dismissive of them. And like I said, you might have had your idealized vision of what you want your relationship to look like a power couple dynamic. And you're like, I don't know, this person's really where I'm at. And then, like I was saying there, it looks like there would be that distance, right, with the Six of Arrows. And really trying to think over, okay, do I want to go to the next level with this person? And on the one hand, you could view that Queen of Arrows in reverse as saying that you're not willing to put any effort into it as far as the love goes, but that's not necessarily what I was picking up on for the majority of you. I picked up on more of like you guys coming out of a receptive energy and deciding, all right, you know what, maybe I need to let this person know what my standards are basically and see if they can meet me there or not, right? As opposed to just seeing if they'll just come along that route without you guys even mentioning it. So that's what I see there. And then let's see what we got on their side. Okay. We have mountain. It says something or someone is standing in between us right now. Interesting. Not really seeing another person in the dynamic. Although I will say with that Knight of Swords artwork there, we do see like a third party dynamic. I'm not really picking up on that, so it's more of something I feel like for the majority of you as opposed to another person. And then, like I said, it didn't even seem like, you know, they were really doing anything per se. It was just more of you were feeling like, I don't know if this person's on my level. And like I said, it looks like they're going to make that effort with you in the present, but then it looks like they'll still come away confused. So in the future position, I could see you guys actually putting it out on the table, what you're looking for, what your expectations are, but, you know, could just be saying that they're not quite sure what's going on with you guys, but hopefully that resonated. All right. And Lastly, we'll pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. Same situation as far as I pre-shuffled this deck too, and here we're just looking for one card though with general advice, and then we'll wrap up. Actually, something came to mind too. So once I get this card, I'll mention to you what it could be with that Oracle card that came up from their side. Alright, doesn't seem like anything's coming up, so let me just put the deck down and we'll pull a card. But also, when I was shuffling this deck, another thought that came to mind is with this Judgment card here, could represent that they might have a child with someone else, and that could be what's getting between you guys. That's another way it could definitely be playing out, so they could be trying to get something off the ground with you, but then they might have like I said, they might have a child with someone else already, and that person could be making things difficult as far as the connection goes. That's definitely something that popped in my head, so hopefully that resonates with some of you. But yeah, as for this, let me tune in for a second. We'll pull a card from that deck. Okay. All right, we have TikTok. There's the artwork, and the number is 30. So that definitely makes me think of the card that came up on your side about trying to make a difficult decision and it involves them. So we'll see if that helps give you some guidance on that. All right, it says timelessness, divine timing, immeasurable time. The Oracle's message. When humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People have come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and the future ahead of them. But what if that isn't true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos, and order, were happening now in a glorious timelessness? You have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire, so release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. Miracles are here right now and always show up when you need them, right on time. So, definitely a pretty interesting message there, and I will say if you guys are really just caught up in your heads, and that could definitely be with the six of coins and six of arrows, or whatever energy is pointing to there, could just be saying that, when it comes to making decisions, just have faith that when the time is right, you'll get there. All right, the relationship message says love, the fulfillment of desire, and even the body's reproductive cycles have their own timetable. Some things are preordained and cannot be coerced. Everything has its season, its divine and appropriate timing, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. Remember that you always have enough time for love, to find it, to nurture it, to give and receive it. Its clock is eternal and ticks according to the beating of your heart in perfect rhythm. Isn't that wonderful to know? Love is always right on time. So an interesting message there too, as far as reproductive cycles. So for some of you, like I was saying, when it wasn't about this person having a child with someone else, could just be saying that maybe you guys have been having a little bit of trouble with conceiving or possibly even agreeing if that's the right decision for you. So if that's the case, that's another message there where it says like, look, when the timing's right, it'll work out. So hopefully that resonated with you guys as well. But yeah, overall, we'll wrap up there. Once again, hope you guys are having a good holiday season and a happy new year, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.